Dragon Age Veilguard decided that their old fans, the ones who loved the franchise and supported them, are trash that needs to be swept under the rug or removed by any means necessary, and replaced with everyone's favorite thing, modern audiences. Oh yes, this is gonna be a huge disaster.
So there's a lot of discussion happening right now around Dragon Age the Veilguard, and obviously a lot of it's very negative. If you don't know that, then you obviously don't follow gaming news. But still, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a highly controversial title that's about to come out very soon, and it ironically comes out
Not really controversial, I would say. Most people are of the same opinion. It's gonna be shit.
on Halloween of this year. But still, this game is
But this game has its main selling point is you can be gay with any character because they're all gay. It's not good. That's not actually a selling point. That's a don't buy it point.
getting roasted for a multitude of reasons. Mainly, it's obvious woke virtue signaling with its character creator. But one of the big things for actual real
Surgery scars, not being able to make a woman that's thicker than a board. Good times.
Dragon Age fans is that this game is not going to continue world states. Now, world states is the state of your world. Obviously, that's what it says, but it's a state of your world that was determined based on the actions you took in previous games, and it carried over into newer games, which was very important for BioWare RPGs, and that's what separated them from the competition and made them so beloved by actual original real fans. But with Dragon
I talked about this. There is no way a game like this is gonna have meaningful decisions. Oh, we saw, I forgot which one was the shill that actually spoke about this. Was it Maddie? I think it was maybe Maddie. That he said, oh my god, this game has such meaningful decision making. I needed to make a decision at the start. Do I do X or do I do Y? And I decided to take this approach, the bad approach, and my companion got hurt until the end of the mission. That is such a meaningful decision to make. I literally can't.
Age the Veilguard abandoning world states pretty much altogether, it's got a lot of fans thinking this is pretty freaking worthless.
Dumbest marketing move ever. I'm out.
On point. Good shit, by the way. Really good shit.
And to be honest, it kind of sparks the conversation of it is kind of worthless, right? The entire reason you would play a Dragon Age sequel is that you can continue and see the story that you built over the last XYZ amount of games. In this case, it was 3 games.
Exactly. But, well, considering, well, it's woke haven right now. First of all, not all of those decisions are acceptable. Some of them are just not modern gaming audience decisions, and that's bad. Two, that would require effort, a love for, a love for the game. Wow.
Games, you can see the outcome of your decisions, and that's the entire reason why games like this even work the way that they do. Otherwise, there's no reason for you to have it in the first 3 games. But they're
why do you want an outcome when the developers know best? They know the best, most fun outcome, and your opinion doesn't matter. Good stuff.
They're basically completely removing that from this new game, and they're basically just giving you an A, B, and C option to choose from that's close enough to what most gamers would have picked. But then when you really get down to the nitty-gritty and start to ask questions about certain state of affairs in the actual world, then you realize just exactly what you're missing. So let's get into this article, guys, from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Dragon Age the Veilguard will not let you import a world state like with past games. That's a red flag number 1, by the way. As a Dragon Age fan myself, have all 3 original games. I'm telling you right now, the fact that they don't have world state importing with this Dragon Age the Veilguard is a major red flag to me. That this is just, we already know, okay? We already know. This is not the BioWare of old. We know that. This is the garbage BioWare, okay? This is the D.
Yeah, this is dead. This is not the BioWare that made Neverwinter Nights.
DEI BioWare. That's what we're dealing with right now. But all jokes aside, not allowing a world state import is fucking stupid, and it's very clear that this is not going to end well. Instead, you'll get 3 choices about the Inquisitor. The rest is unclear. This is coming from a company that once promised players that they will not have an ABC choice at the end of Mass Effect, and guess what happened? You had an ABC choice. Or actually, you had a secret 4 choice. Technically, a secret 4 choice. But still, an ABC.
Yeah, all of them did literally nothing.
Choice at the beginning. This leaves a lot of key story moments in flux, like whether Morrigan has a child, or if the Inquisitor drank from the Well of Sorrows, which has fans worried that past characters will feel worthless. Now, what do they mean by that? So there's going to be some characters that are going to show their face from the previous games in this newer game. And people are not going to care as much to see these characters because those characters had decisions that were made in their previous world states that are not going to be showcased in this game, right? Because you can't transfer anything. That's going to be highly disappointing to people.
That is gonna be such a turnoff for so many people, by the way. I mean, the game's already a turnoff. It literally looks like fucking Fortnite, and it's made by a bunch of people who are gonna off themselves at any point when someone on Twitter misuses their pronouns. But this is just a spit in your face. Imagine you're a fan and you're like, I played it, and then I made the tough decision of doing X at the end. And guess what? That decision doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, chump. Doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just ignore it. You never made it. Everything is going on like it's happening. Your decision's meaningless. Good times.
People who were very sold on the aspect of world states and were very sold on the aspect of player choice, which is the entire reason a BioWare game exists in the first place. Dragon Age has always emphasized choice, which is true. You make countless decisions throughout each playthrough that alter your standing with different characters and ultimately shape the world itself. And these choices, even the most minuscule, bleed into sequels with little references and nods to the hero of old and their adventures. The Warden and the Hawk stories dictate what Thedas looks like by the time of Inquisition, and it's this attention to detail that has cemented Dragon Age as such a rich, in-depth RPG series. But the Veilguard is...
But not anymore, because the Veilguard decided, no, that's too much work.
Dropping world states altogether, only allowing you to make 3 choices: who the Inquisitor romance, whether the Inquisition was disbanded, and if the Inquisitor said they would stop Solas or save them. It's a major shift, one that players aren't too happy about. But the big question is how this will impact key characters and cameos who we know are appearing in the game, like Morrigan. So again, Morrigan has been around since the beginning, and her story is, highly different for a lot of people, depending on what choices.
Yeah, she's the hot one
You made. And if you have a character, if you have a Morrigan yourself that decided maybe not to have a child or something along those lines happened that was vastly different, well, then what if Dragon Age Veilguard makes it canon that she did? Then that means it goes against what...
Dragon Age Veilguard is gonna make it canon that she's a lesbian and the gods gifted her a small lesbian child that now is trans. That's what the gods gifted her, okay? That is now unquestionably true canon.
What you decided to do with your Morrigan, and it just completely kills the experience of the original games where you were able to transfer your world state and get all the information from the first game transferred to the next game. It just makes it worthless, right? Because they tried to sell it as a continuity that you can create. You create your own continuity, and they're throwing it all out the fucking water. You want to know why?
Even in Fortnite, at least you can build shit. Or not any longer. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite.
I'm going to tell you why. These are developers now that are just not as capable as developers of old, right? And this is why I say the BioWare of today is the DEI version of the BioWare of yesterday. BioWare of yesterday cared about the story, cared about the actual world states, cared about their continuity, and cared to give you an experience that you were able to transfer over from game to game. They cared enough, right? That's the key component. They cared. In Dragon Age: The Veilguard, they don't care. These people do not care. The ones that are working at BioWare now, they don't care about what you were able to do in the previous Dragon Ages, which is why they're trying to essentially forget or not even include.
Listen, they don't care, but they cared enough to make the game gay for you. Does that not answer all of your questions?
The original 2 Dragon Age games, right? Dragon Age 1 Origins and Dragon Age 2. They're not trying to include them in your decisions that you can make for this new game. They're only including Inquisition because Inquisition was closer to what they're trying to do with this game, right? This is a full-on woke-ass game, and Inquisition had a little bit in it, but really it was just a regular Dragon Age game at that point. But Veilguard is full mask off at this point, and they don't care. They want to start over, and they're only going to allow 3 decisions from the previous game, and that's it. Everything else will be brand new for them to control with whatever upcoming games they might release. Now, they say that this game is supposedly the last one, but they probably say that just to try to get sales.
Oh yeah, that's probably a lie. Again, remember, boys, there's no such thing as a last iteration of a game as long as the franchise is not dead. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. If there are players who want to buy the game, if a game is popular, there's no such thing as, well, we're gonna make the first, second, and third version of the game, and on the third, it's over. The story ends here. No, it doesn't happen. That's not how real life works. If something makes money in the modern landscape, it's gonna be bled dry until they squeeze the last bit of blood from a literal rock. That's how it's gonna go. And even then, they're gonna try to do some kind of Christmas edition shit and get even the last bit that didn't even exist previously. That's the level of desperation we are talking about here. That's the level of desperation that we are dealing with.
For one, your choices in past games decide whether Morrigan has a child. If that's not one of the 3 options, how will BioWare write around such a big part of her past? Another pivotal moment comes during Inquisition. We can either drink from the Well of Sorrows or allow Morrigan to. This lets you hear the voices of Mythal's servants, gaining the power to defeat Soripheus and even command a dragon, or in Morrigan's case, transform into one. These are vital decisions that radically alter the trajectory of key characters. So what happens to them without a world state? Fans aren't sure, but if it means sidestepping these choices altogether or making certain paths canon, then they're not convinced that the cameos and appearance are worth it at all.
Chances are, because this is modern game development, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be some characters that are known, but a lot of characters are just going to be yeeted, deleted, not referenced, not there anymore. And for what? Because the new devs are better than the old devs in their minds, so they know better. And the old is boring, and they know how to craft a masterpiece. Literally Concord, by the way.
And again, so they're probably going to sidestep it, if I had to guess. I don't think they're going to make one or anything canon. I think they're just going to avoid the question altogether, right? They're not going to bring up a potential child with Morrigan, or they're not going to bring up the Well of Sorrows or anything like that. They're not going to bring up the other aspects that happen within Dragon Age Inquisition. They're only going to bring up the 3 things that they're asking at the beginning of this new game, and that is it. And it's fucking sucks because it really does kind of cheapen the entire experience. People were waiting for a Dragon Age 4 because they wanted to continue their world state, and you taking that away from them is really just fucking kicking it in the balls, right? You're kicking all the original fans in the balls and says, buy our game.
Well, yeah, because the original fans don't matter. The modern audiences are going to replace them with a scale of 1 modern audience person per 10,000 old fans of the game. It's not a great scale. It's a work in progress, I guess.
Anyway, and we're going to tell you what the story is, right? Like, we're going to be the ones to tell you what decisions you made. It really is kind of messed up, but I mean, at the end of the day, what can you expect from modern day BioWare? They're an absolute joke. They're the same people who made Anthem, and they're just hoping that this game...
How woke is BioWare? They have 2 DEI departments.
Is going to save them, and people are like, oh, this is a return to form from BioWare. Yeah, only the shills are saying that. Let's be real. This is not a return to form from BioWare. This is the final part of their own indoctrination, right? It's so ironic that this is the company, this is the studio that the indoctrination theory became a thing, right? From Mass Effect 3. Meanwhile, the entire time, the ones who were really being indoctrinated wasn't Commander Shepard. It was BioWare themselves. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe.
By the way, the indoctrination theory about all of that is pretty fun. If you haven't watched the indoctrination theory, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It explains a couple of things. It's interesting. Well, in any case, that was Hypnotic 10 out of 10. Bye.